Welcome to Raw Sportscast. My name is Scott Harrigan. Today we have Tiffany Mayonis and Ford Preston. How you guys doing today?
Good, yourself?
Good, thank you. Now, have you ever done anything like this before?
No.
No? Have you been on TV before?
Yes.
What were you on?
CTV News and Check News.
Oh, so you're an old hat at this then, right? Yeah.
Not too much.
Well, you look pretty comfortable. What about you, Mom?
Oh, only what he's dragged me into.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into that. So I remember doing a little story on you. Geez, how long ago was that? That was a little while ago, wasn't it? A year ago, was it?
About a year and a half.
Yeah.
Was it about that? Yeah, time flies.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe we'd have you on today to see where you've been. The story was that you have a disability.
Yeah, Tourette syndrome.
Tourette. So it's and we talked. Is it a condition? Is it a disability?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay. And how does that affect you on your normal day-to-day stuff?
It makes it a little bit different just because you can't really focus on much.
Okay.
Really hard because
Yeah.
I have a tick that makes my neck twitch.
Okay.
So if I'm trying to focus on something.
Like me right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little bit hard.
Is it? Yeah. Well, we'll get through this, no problem, because we're going to talk. What about your favorite sport is lacrosse? So.
Yeah.
And Mom, when did you recognize that Ford had this condition? Was it early on?
Yeah, I would say it was pretty young, like around 2.5. He started having some eye rolls and facial grimaces, but to us, it was just Ford. It was who he was, and it wasn't anything we had much concern about.
Okay.
But it was about in grade 2 when it started to become a little bit more distracting.
Right.
And that's when we got a diagnosis. So
Okay.
it's been a bit of a journey, but
Right.
once again, to us, he's just Ford.
Right,
It's
exactly.
a part of who he is.
Right.
It's part of our everyday life.
Okay. So what I found interesting was that this disability or condition doesn't happen when you're playing lacrosse.
Yeah, no, lacrosse is kind of like a medicine to me.
Okay.
And it helps me focus and helps me calm down when I'm having really bad days.
Okay. What would be a bad day for it if you say during COVID did you have episodes where you were missing, obviously you were missing the game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of times I just had to get down to the box at 8 at the night because I couldn't go to sleep or anything.
Okay. So you just have this surge of energy that you find that you running around the block, or it's the only sport or the only thing that really calms you down on a consistent basis is lacrosse?
Yeah, and it's also energy,
Right.
really bad neck pains from my neck twitches.
Oh, wow. Okay. Do you find yourself holding on to the stick when you're just sitting watching TV or eating dinner, or do you always have something lacrosse near you?
Yeah, I have a lacrosse stick in almost every corner of our house. So.
Is it? What do you think of that, Mom?
I think that's a underestimation, but we'll go with each corner.
Now, do you ever use Mom as the goalie?
No.
Do you have other siblings that they have to go in net so you can fire balls at them?
My little brother wants to be a goalie, but we don't have any padding for him.
Not yet.
I'd be his...
Little brothers don't need padding. Just whip it.
Oh, yeah, that is a good point.
Good stuff. So you say that lacrosse has been your medicine.
Yeah.
Do you take medicine? If when COVID hit, you couldn't play lacrosse. Are you on medicine?
I was a year ago.
Okay.
But it stopped helping, so I just figured there was no point in taking medication that wouldn't benefit me.
Good for you. And no matter what, and when you're having a really bad day, lacrosse works.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for you. So tell me a little bit about how you first got into lacrosse. Did you know that this was going to help you, or is this just came by and you noticed and went, wow, this really helps with what I'm dealing with?
Well, I've been playing for a really long time. I got my first lacrosse stick at like the age of 2.
Okay.
And I've had it in my hands ever since.
What about hockey or baseball or any other sport?
I've never really played any other sport. I'm going to do basketball this winter.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't played any rec sports. Like, he's done some basketball camps and soccer camps, and he's been on school teams.
Okay.
But for association-wise, lacrosse has been his primary focus. But we have made it a goal to make sure he's been experiencing other sports as well.
So was it that you took him to a game, a Shamrocks game, or did you watch a game at a young age and went, ooh, that's for me?
Yeah, I went to a Shamrocks game, and I got my first stick. It was given to me.
Oh, by a player?
No, one of my cousins.
Okay.
It was actually Uncle Sean.
Yeah.
Uncle Sean.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I've just been playing because I fell in love with the sport the first time I saw it.
So how many Shamrocks games have you been to now?
In the hundreds.
Have you ever met any of the Shamrocks?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Could you tell me who? Do you remember?
Met Jesse King,
Oh.
Reese Dutch, Josh
Okay.
Fagan,
Ben.
Ben McCullough.
Who's your favorite, Ben?
Probably Ben.
Yeah.
Just
He's a
because
big teddy bear, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really nice.
Yeah, he is.
And he's like helped me through a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Are you ever at a point that you've been talking with him, you can email them or call? Do you have their cell number?
I don't have his cell phone number, but I can email him and we'll get together. And
Really? Good. And that's Ben?
yeah, Ben.
Oh, big shout out to Ben, right?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
There's a lot of them, though, that have really
Yeah.
kind of helped you out. There's a new upcomer player who's really stood by you in the last little while, and you guys have reached out to each other a lot. You want to talk about?
Max, he's down in the States for school right now.
Okay.
We were going to get together like a day or 2 ago.
Okay. And he plays for the Shamrocks?
Yeah, he's going to be.
He's going to play, right? Yeah. Oh,
He
cool.
just got drafted when he was down in the States for school. He
Right.
was announced on the draft lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was really cool to watch.
That is one. Oh, you watched it on TV or online?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and you were cheering for him?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Is it your hope one day to play at that level?
Yeah.
Yeah. What position do you play?
Like attack or like in field mid-year attack.
So you play both field and box.
Yeah.
What do you prefer?
Well, it's kind of like a fine line in between both because I really like both, but in some aspects I like one more than the other.
Yeah.
Like for like shooting stuff, I prefer field because you can have like 6 people on attack because there's middies and attacks.
Okay.
So
I've never played either
Yeah.
game, to be honest with you.
well, that's fair.
That's fair, right? Yeah, yeah. Now, the equipment's different. I know that much.
Yeah.
So you have a field hockey stick, or it's not the same size sticks, are they?
Well, they are. It's just the material's different because in field you want your stick to be lighter, so like carbon fiber and stuff. And then in box you want like a steel stick so it doesn't snap when you cross-check someone.
So, all right. So is the hitting as part of lacrosse?
Yeah.
Is that your favorite part of lacrosse?
It's been growing on me lately.
Is it? Do you ever feel that as your story gets out more and more, maybe people take it easier on you, or do you just like don't do that? I'm here.
Don't do that. I'm here to
Absolutely, right? Yeah, like let's give me your best, right?
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. Now, when you started playing, you noticed that there were other players who didn't have equipment, or they maybe had disabilities themselves, and you took it upon yourself to reach out to other people? Can you tell me? You have a charity, I understand.
Yeah, so I'm basically collecting used sports equipment.
Okay.
And, like, people can reach out to me at my Gmail, and I can try to get them some gear. Like, if you're just young, want to try out the sport for, like, a season or something, I can, like, give you some gear instead of having to go out and get all that expensive gear.
Oh, wow.
Like, if you just want to play a sport,
okay,
you can just reach out, and I can help you get some gear.
What is your Gmail? And we'll put it in a link, too. For
Preston Sport Link Network.
What's, Mom?
It's Preston Sports Link Network at gmail.com.
Okay. And is there a Facebook page, too?
Yeah, I think it's Preston Sports Link Network.
Okay, on Facebook, and they can find you on there and comment and stuff?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So are you just focusing on lacrosse, or what kind of sports are you focusing on?
I'm focusing on all sports.
Oh, really?
So, like, I have hockey gear, I have some tennis rackets, I have a lot of stuff.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
So you're taking gear from slightly used gear, or when you're storing it in your home?
I have, like, a storage locker donated to me from the storage room. And
That's the name of the company, Storage Room?
yeah.
Okay, we've got to give a shout out to the Storage Room.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Storage Room.
So much, honestly.
Have they?
Yeah.
Okay. And how full is the storage?
Pretty full. I mean,
Is it getting full?
yeah. We have some stuff in our house that we have to go bring out there in a couple of days.
Okay. Wow. And what gave you this passion to you just seen that other people were struggling, or where is this coming from?
Yeah, so, like, over the years, I have, like, seen that people haven't been able to play sports because of the barrier of cost, or their gear is just not what it should be, or, like, really broken up and tear down.
Or they don't know if they want to go out and purchase the gear
Yeah.
in case they didn't like the sport type thing?
Yeah.
So are there, what's in town here? Kirby's, I guess? Is Kirby's helping you out?
Yeah, they actually let me put a donation box.
Okay,
in their
cool.
store.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's always there he always has been.
Yeah.
And what about the Shamrocks? Are they helping out in any way that we can give them a shout out for? Are they helping out yet?
Not yet, I don't think. But
Not yet?
some of the players are, like, going to help me restring some of the sticks I got, because they're not always the best meshed.
Yeah.
And EDC Lacrosse, Greg, sent me out some mesh so I can restring some of the sticks.
Okay. What's EDC Lacrosse?
I don't know what it stands for.
East Coast Design.
East Coast Design.
Okay. Look at you, Mom.
But
Well, maybe what we should do is look into the camera and say, "Hey, Shamrocks, give Preston a hand." Do that one. Guilt him into it. What do you think? Hey, it works.
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes it
you need that
works.
little nudge.
Well, that's awesome. So, do you find that the charity work that you're doing is helping you stay within the game? Does that help with your condition? So that if you find yourself busy taking emails, answering emails, or collecting gear, or going out to the storage, does that help you focus more?
yeah, sometimes it does.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff.
So what got you started on wanting to actually start the charity? Because that's something we've talked about a couple of times, and it really seems that it really stemmed from one point. You know, you've been pretty fortunate to experience a lot of great opportunities in your life. But what moment was it that was like, hey, not everybody has the same opportunity to me, and we need the community to help everybody?
Yeah, I was at like a lacrosse camp, and the person who started it told me about a sports 7-week camp
All right.
over in Vancouver. So
During COVID.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I asked my mom if I could go, and she said, "I'm sorry, we can't quite justify it right now, just because
Money, what monetarily?
money because people are losing their jobs,
Right.
and we don't know. We just want to stay stable, so."
Yep.
everything's okay.
Okay.
So
And you were okay with that? You understood?
I understood, but I wouldn't say I was necessarily okay with it because I wrote up some sponsor letters. And
So you weren't going to take no for an
I
answer.
wasn't going to take no for an answer.
Oh, wow.
And so I wrote up sponsorship letters and brought them out to local businesses.
Okay.
And I ended up getting enough to go over to Vancouver for 7 weeks and play the sport I love.
Okay. And so you were able to not only get the money, but that paid for you to go?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And how many businesses that helped you? Do you remember?
6 or 7.
Do you remember them?
Gilly's Carpet Cleaning,
Gillies.
West Shore Barbershop,
For sure.
Black Hole Holland,
Okay.
Birds of a Feather Bed and
Birds of a
Breakfast.
Feather Bread and Breakfast, and
Jerry's Transport.
Jerry's Transport.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go, folks. We have to give shout outs to all those people that made that possible.
Yeah.
And from that, you that was really where it started hitting you, the lacrosse bug, right? Like that was where that's where you really seen the difference in your energy level and your focus and stuff like that. Was that really when that started taking place?
Yeah, that's when I started trying to get this to happen. My mom actually had to say no again to me opening
Mom!
my charity because
Mom!
she said that she didn't have the space.
What?
I started reaching out to locker room companies.
Okay.
And a little while later, I went to my mom and I said, some guy from Toronto is going to call you.
And who was this guy?
The gentleman was the management company for our local storage room. And that's when they donated the locker to Ford to be able to do his charity work.
So you didn't know he was on the phone?
I didn't. I didn't know he was sending off emails and making phone calls and planning for me to talk to people. It kind of just happens, and it's kind of like, just recently we were connected with a gentleman out in Ontario who's collecting gear and shipping it off to Uganda. Because there's an orphanage there, and that
they're using lacrosse to build a community. And so, if you don't live in the orphanage and you go to lacrosse practices, and your family doesn't have money for food, then you can get a bag of food and bring it home to your family.
Oh, wow. So, really? So, okay, tell me more about this. So, this Uganda. Do they play lacrosse? I don't even I don't mean that to sound.
Yeah, no. The last couple of years, they have definitely been growing a lacrosse community. So the president of the Uganda Lacrosse Association has actually contacted us and has invited Ford to go out and experience lacrosse there and have him out there and play with some of the younger guys. And
that's a little bit more different than 7 weeks in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Who's coming up for the money for that one?
I'm going to have to do a lot of bottle
I
drives.
would think so.
A lot of bottle drives.
There's more bottle drives and some calls to Toronto, I think, coming up in your future.
But we plan on bringing lacrosse gear out there, too.
Yeah.
So we're really focusing a lot on community here, local community.
Collecting lacrosse gear and hopefully bringing it out there
Cool.
in about a year or so.
All right. And so your Facebook page that you have, does that help you connect with people all around the world to get your message out? And yeah. Okay, good stuff. So Uganda is what, next year?
We're hoping, a year and a half. So
we'll
long
have
as
to see how
borders
this
and everything are
right. Of course, good stuff. And you playing lacrosse this year? And who are you playing for?
I'm playing for Victoria Titans.
Okay, right.
Field lacrosse now.
Right. Okay. Oh, the field lacrosse is on right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's going to be doing basketball too with West Shore basketball.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, nice. Good stuff. Think you can dunk?
I don't think so. Maybe in a 5-foot net.
Yeah.
Just head level.
Yeah. How tall are you right now?
5'9". foot, maybe 5'1".
5'1"? Yeah, you got a ways to go yet, eh? Yeah. That's all right. Good stuff. And what happens if you start liking basketball more than lacrosse?
If that does happen, then I'll start playing basketball as well, but I'll still play lacrosse.
Yeah, I think so. Good stuff. So the community has really helped you, and do you get overwhelmed with that, or is it like a little not embarrassing, but do you kind of go, "Ooh, geez, I'm starting to really reach out to people"? Does it make you uncomfortable?
I don't get uncomfortable very easily, but I don't really get overwhelmed from it.
Okay, good.
At one point, there was a lot of stuff happening, so I just needed to take a little break.
Okay, yeah. And you know when that happens, when you have to do that, and Mom's right there, and you can notice that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the one thing that we always focus on is like mental health, and it's so important. And so if there's any ever time like, these are Ford's passions. These are things he wants to do, and I'm kind of just along for the ride. Right. And it's been a ride so far. Right. Absolutely, it's been a positive experience.
Right.
And he's definitely the engine running it. But once again, with being the engine, when you need to take that pause, that's his right.
Right.
And he just needs to look at us, and we respect that. Right. It's because this is his passion. These are his goals. These are his dreams.
Yeah.
They're not my dreams and my passions.
Yeah.
But as his parent, I'm there to support him in whatever endeavor he wants to do.
Perfect.
But
and you have other kids.
I do.
You have how many more kids?
I got 3 boys altogether.
Three boys altogether. And are they as passionate on this endeavor, or is this something you're taking on and they're following you, or?
I'm taking it on, and they haven't really helped yet.
Not yet.
But
they should, though, shouldn't they?
They
might.
They definitely, once again, like, this is Ford's passion and Ford's dream, and they have their passions and their dreams too, and we support those. Like, my youngest son just got brought to an invite-only diving team, and my older son does boxing and basketball, so they're also very active in sports, but they live their own life, right? Yeah. And they're a lot more reserved, and Ford's a little bit more willing to put himself out there, right?
Yeah. So. Did you play sports?
I did.
Yeah.
Do a few things as a youth. I did football. I did soccer. Nice. I used to do horse jumping
in
Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia. Yeah. And what about Dad?
He played lacrosse.
He played lacrosse?
He did play minor lacrosse.
Yeah. But, okay, good.
He had to stop to drive his family around
to their lacrosse games, but that was a personal choice.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Personal choice.
Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, that is enlightening. You're going to have to come back on the show, and we have to get some updates. And you have my ISN website? Do you know how to get a hold of me on ISN and Raw?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then is there, like, you did touch base on the community and stuff too, and I think it's really important for the community to know that supporting Ford, it doesn't go unnoticed or unseen. Yeah. And, you know, we've had a lot of people reach out to Ford privately with very inspiring messages, and we see you seeing him.
Yes.
And it's
absolutely
it's good, right?
Yeah.
And you know, it's we're all here to uplift one another and grow the passion for whatever sport, right?
Well, you know that it's it starts with one, you know, and it snowballs, and
more people end up helping,
right?
And it grows.
Well, that's it, and it's I suffer from depression and anxiety. I didn't think that I did. And it wasn't something I was even willing to talk about probably 5 years ago. I just thought of it as a weakness. But I have a very serious shoulder injury, and it's not healing. And part of that is stress, depression. And when I finally asked surgeons and doctors about that, the response that I got from my specialist was, it just blew me away. It was, yes, it plays a huge role in injuries, and this is why some of the players and top athletes, they call them, this guy is in a bubble or a bubble boy or whatever, and it's an underlying issue of either drugs, alcohol, and it plays a huge part. So, do you find yourself? Do you think you have anxiety, depression, anything like that? I mean, I don't know if you're too young to ask that question, but
not at all. Not too young at all.
Okay,
it's important. It starts young.
Yeah.
I was really sad a while ago due to bullying.
Oh, I hate bullying.
And then afterwards leaving crying in pain. Because it was just hard a lot of the time. But those downs ended up bringing me up, and that's kind of when I started talking to Ben.
Buddy. Yeah, Ben wouldn't stand for that. I don't know the man, but I know he wouldn't stand for that. And I don't know of a man that would stand for that, to be honest. Well, and it's so important to, reach out and talk, and I'll tell you right now that I've met you, I'll give you my number after this show, and your mom, you have my number.
I have it already. I can pass it on.
And you could... that phone's on 24/7 for you if that happens. There's, I don't think people and kids. I mean, if parents are going to watch this and the kids might watch, maybe not, I'm not cool enough for the kids, but whatever. But heads up if you are. Bullying's just not cool, and it absolutely pisses me off to no end. It really does. It irks me. There's no need of it.
There's no need, and it's also just a big part of the bullying that happened was because they just do what their parents do as well. So it's like if their parents do it, then they don't know any better.
But I think like the biggest part that Ford took out of the experience, and it's something, Ford started a hashtag, show up, get up, be you. And there was a big part of that, and there was a time where his love and his passion for his sport was being overwhelmed by the depression and anxiety of even showing up. And there was many times I had to look at him and I had to say, Ford, you got to show up, get up and be you. And the people who matter in your life, like the people who are going to make a difference in your life, are going to see what's happening. And the people who don't see what's happening aren't going to be the ones that are there that matter in the long run anyways.
Well, it's well said. And it's kudos to you for it only, for the reason that you recognize it and you still, had to shut it down for a couple of weeks while you regrouped and stuff. Yeah. And that's okay. But to be brave enough to talk about it and to speak up on it, there's kids that don't, and it just leads to bigger trouble and bigger issues. So,
I just feel like you have to be able to talk about it to get through it, and if you don't, then it'll just grow up inside of you, and that's kind of what happened to me when I kept on getting bullied.
So now you know what to do when that happens, and good for you. And that, it's just, I don't know, but it's not new.
Yeah, no.
It's been going on for years, and it's one of those things. A lot of things have changed in society.
But I don't think bullying level will change.
Oh, I think so.
It's been getting a lot worse for some people.
I think the more we can speak about it, though, and bring light to it and support the ones that are struggling with similar situations, then it does start to happen less. It does.
I mean, there's Pink Shirt Day. There's this,
Pink Shirt Day is really triggering, too, though, because you show up to school and the individual who's been bullying you at school all year long is wearing that pink shirt. And then the next day, that pink shirt goes off and the same individual who was wearing that shirt. It's almost re-traumatizing, I find. In certain situations. And I think that's what we do forget to talk about. But it is bringing awareness out. And with awareness, there is change.
It's a very sticky thing to do, and you get the people that say, stop buying a pink shirt and put them in martial arts. And violence isn't, the way. It's not the answer. But unfortunately, sometimes like that person has to be told that this isn't good. But it certainly shouldn't be the go-to.
No.
And I wouldn't.
Last resort.
Without a doubt. But I don't really think that even the bullies know. Oh, I'll tell you what they do know. I'll tell you this. Bullies know later on in life when they get older just how much
they were wrong
and the damage, and they see it if they start having kids of their own or guilt flashbacks or whatever. So to say that it won't be ever resolved, I don't believe that. I believe that the more we talk about it and have discussions like this and talk and bring parents aware that, you were a bully at one time. I don't think I was. I mean, nobody's ever said, because sports was just all banter. I played everything when I was a kid. In fact, I do remember international students coming over and me having to protect them. And my brother, Pete, he was in cadets, which was not a cool thing to be in seventh. And he'd go to school in his cadet uniform. I'm not. And just the teasing that he would get. Yeah. And I remember I had more than a couple fights because of that. So
yeah, I've had to fight for my older brother a couple of times.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't stand up for himself, so I'd have to kind of help him with that a lot.
Yeah. And, whether it got resolved or not, sometimes that's where you got to.
The time they stop.
Again, I'm not here to say that's the way to go because it's it's not.
Later on, it will just happen again.
Yeah. So, hey, you know what, Ford? That's really cool how you can recognize that, and
there's no right answer for it either. Though. I think that's what we really
there is a right answer. It's wrong.
Well,
it's
it
just
wrong,
bullying
at
any level,
with it and how to cope with it and how to stand up for it. Like there really isn't a right answer yet.
I've had bullies who, believe it or not, grow up to be supervisors, foremans, whatever, and. It's almost more degrading as an adult being talked down to by someone who thinks they're whatever. But the best part about bullying, if there is one, is that no matter who you are, no matter what you are, no matter any disability, if you're on a team. That team will have your back every time. And the friendships, I would encourage anybody that
make them like long term.
Not just it's going to happen regardless because you're going to play with these guys and then a couple of years and then play with more guys, whatever. Some of the best friends I ever have is through sport. No, it is. It just
Absolutely.
Is. So. It's almost a brotherhood, a sisterhood, and it's really more powerful than any bully, and you're never alone.
Yeah.
If when you're a part of a team. So.
But it's at the end of the day too, though. Like it's not even about. We don't want to always just shed light to the bullying, but we want to shed light to the individuals who are struggling with it. With, once again, you got to continue to show up and get up and be you for yourself because...
Well, you got to speak up.
Well, you got to speak up and, be who you are because...
Yeah, and don't let them change who you are.
No, don't. Don't ever. That's it, buddy. Good for you. Yeah, absolutely. You're just perfect the way you are and don't ever change and you're doing some great things and... I certainly wasn't doing that when I was your age.
I don't think I was either. Let me tell you, it was a very different story.
Yeah, mine. Mine certainly. No. So.
Generational change. That's what we strive for, right? Generational change.
Yeah, that's great.
Where we're at.
And it's going to be people like your son who's going to maybe flick a switch of another kid and
Absolutely.
and that's never a bad thing, but. Well, listen, guys, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the show today. Did you have fun?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah?
Thank you for having me again.
Of course, buddy. Absolutely. Is there anything that we forgot to mention that you want to give a shout out or anything like that?
Not really.
No? You got it all out?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Just an overall thank you to everybody in the community.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone who's ever helped me.
Okay.
To where I am.
Good for you. Yeah. And I second that for sure. So, Ford, absolute pleasure meeting you in person. And I hope to see you again sometime. And Tiff, pleasure meeting you finally.
Absolutely, in person.
Yeah. And hopefully you guys come back on again sometime.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I think we can make that happen.
Yeah, you can make that happen?
We can make that happen.
You can make that happen?
I'm free.
Yeah, you're free? Yeah,
He just tells me where to show up, and I show up.
Perfect. Have you maybe have your people call my people, and we'll do lunch?
Sure.
All right, that's what we'll do then. Perfect. All right. Well, everybody, look for the links for it in this charity and this Facebook page. And if you see bullying at all, stop it right away. It's just not cool, and it really is a massively hurtful thing. Anyways, Ford, Tiffany, thanks for coming on the show. And this is Scott Harrigan. Until the next time, thank you.